In the dense forests of New England, there once lay a small, serene village called Elmswood. Nestled amidst towering pine trees and beside a crystal-clear lake, Elmswood was a place where time seemed to stand still. The villagers lived simple lives, relying on farming, fishing, and storytelling around the village square. Children played freely, and elders passed down tales of the woods and its mysteries. But one story always stood out: the tale of the vanishing woods. It was said that every 100 years, the forest would consume anything that strayed too deep within its boundaries. This was no ordinary forest. It was believed to have a spirit of its own, one that protected its secrets fiercely. The village elders would warn, "Stay on the marked paths. The woods do not take kindly to strangers." One cold autumn night, when the moon was a mere sliver in the sky, a thick fog enveloped Elmswood. It crept through the village streets, muffling every sound and making even the familiar seem foreign. That night, the villagers noticed something peculiar: a distant light, flickering deep within the forest, one that hadn't been there before. Curious whispers filled the air as people wondered what it could be. Liam, a young and adventurous soul, was particularly intrigued. His grandmother, the village's oldest storyteller, had warned him countless times about the dangers of the forest. But something about that light called to him. "It's just a story," he muttered to himself as he grabbed his lantern and set off towards the woods, despite the chilling fog. As Liam ventured deeper, he realized that the light seemed to move further away the closer he got. The path underfoot grew less familiar, the trees towering over him like silent sentinels. Shadows danced and whispered, but Liam pressed on, determined to uncover the source of the mysterious glow. Meanwhile, back in the village, the fog grew thicker, and the night seemed to stretch on endlessly. The villagers, sensing something was wrong, began searching for Liam. They called his name, their voices echoing through the stillness, but there was no response. Panic began to spread as they realized the young boy had ventured into the forbidden woods alone. Liam, now deep within the heart of the forest, found himself at the edge of a clearing he had never seen before. In the center stood a massive oak tree, its branches reaching out like arms. Beneath its canopy, the mysterious light shone brighter than ever. As he approached, he noticed something strange: a circle of stones with ancient symbols carved into them. The air grew colder, and a shiver ran down his spine. He reached out to touch one of the stones, and suddenly, the light engulfed him. The forest around him seemed to shift and ripple, as if he had stepped into another realm. The trees whispered his name, and the ground beneath him trembled. Liam realized too late that he had crossed into the domain of the forest spirit. In the village, the fog lifted as dawn approached, revealing a shocking sight. Elmswood was gone. The cottages, the market square, even the lake, everything had vanished, leaving nothing but an expanse of trees where the village once stood. The villagers, still in the forest searching for Liam, found themselves lost and confused. The paths they knew had disappeared, replaced by a maze of unfamiliar trails. Days turned into weeks, and the villagers struggled to find their way back. The forest seemed to toy with them, leading them in circles. Many began to lose hope, their voices growing hoarse from calling out to one another. But Liam's grandmother, guided by an instinct she couldn't explain, pressed on. One night, as the moon shone full and bright, she stumbled upon the same clearing where Liam had stood. The massive oak tree loomed before her, its branches swaying gently in the wind. The stones around it glowed faintly, and the air felt charged with energy. She whispered a prayer, calling upon the spirits of the forest for mercy. As if in response, the wind picked up and a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Liam, but he was different. His eyes glowed with a soft, otherworldly light, and his expression was calm. "Grandmother," he said, his voice echoing strangely, "the forest has taken me, and it has taken Elmswood, but it offers a choice." The old woman listened, her heart heavy with fear and hope. "What choice?" she asked. "The village can return," Liam explained, "but it must remain in harmony with the forest. The stories, the warnings, they were true. The forest spirit guards its realm, and those who venture too far must pay a price." The grandmother understood. She nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "We will honor the forest," she promised. "We will respect its boundaries and protect its secrets." With that, the light around Liam grew brighter, and the ground beneath them rumbled. The clearing shifted once more, and when the light faded, Elmswood was back, its cottages standing tall, the market square bustling, and the lake shimmering under the moonlight. The villagers found themselves back in their homes, safe, but changed. From that day on, they respected the forest, keeping its paths clear and honoring its spirit. The story of Liam's journey became a new legend, passed down from generation to generation. And every 100 years, as the fog rolled in, the villagers would gather around the old oak tree, leaving offerings and whispering their gratitude to the spirit that watched over them. Elmswood was no longer just a village. It was a guardian of the ancient woods. And though the villagers continued their lives, they knew one truth above all. Some stories were not just tales, but warnings to be heeded.